Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip with Trade Genius. Well, lots of blood in the street, lots of selling in crypto land. There's not much for safe havens right now. Bitcoin's continuing to get sold, so is Ethereum and Litecoin. The alt space is getting it too. There's a few things that are holding up decently, but across the board, the whole market cap is taking a hit. And we've seen this before, and this isn't the end. But you go through these periods where you do get some shakeout of the weak hand, so to speak. But what I wanted to show you guys was, I get a lot of questions, especially in the last couple of days, of like, where's the bottom, what's the floor, and what I'm looking for is I like to see kind of a capitulation in volume terms. So what I kind of wanted to show you guys, what I mean by that is we'll take a look at a chart, and we'll just do an exercise of kind of looking at the last since like before 2017, like in 2016, mid 2016, let's say. We'll look at different areas where we had really high volume, and then we'll see how that related to price. So looking at we'll just look at a Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin dollar, BTC USD, and this is a daily chart. And we're going to use Bitfinex because they got a lot of volume. And Coinbase's volume got kind of skewed on this last TradingView update. I don't know what happened, but the volume since like late December into January looks different than when it used to, so I'm not sure what happened there. So we'll just use Bitfinex for now. So what I wanted to do was highlight and show you guys basically so this is just showing you volume right now. We don't have the price bars up, this is just volume. So looking at, we'll just place vertical lines kind of at points of where we have high volume, and I'm going to look at like really high volume, like where it's like near 100,000 for the day. So that's going to be up in this level here. So we'll mark this one, and we'll mark this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, so that's our really high volume days. All right. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and we're going to drag price down, and we're going to zoom in on these days. And we'll reset the scale. All right, so this was an area of basically where volume and price kind of climaxed. Okay, so this was about June 2016. This is right around where the halvening happened, and that's where the mining output award went from, basically halved from as it does every so often. The next one's in 2020, so half of the reward, or the reward for mining a block, it's cut in half. All right, so there was a lot of volume in that area, basically a run up, and basically this is just kind of like a parabolic move, and then it kind of comes back down to reality. All right, so that was a cluster volume there. And let's go to our next mark. Here it is, big volume bar day, and basically puts in a bottom here. That was our bottom at September 2017, around 3,200 or so. Then we move higher. Then we have another big volume day here, puts in the bottom at 58 or so. Actually, the bottom there was about 5,500 at the very bottom. So that marked that day. This one marked this day here where we really had like this blow off, and then but a bunch of buying came in, so we actually had what's called a doji here, and then that ended up resolving itself to the upside. So sometimes that's kind of a rare thing, but normally when you would get a blow off top like that, you're going to be watching for price to roll over there. But actually in this case it didn't, and this was December where things got super crazy and overheated. Then this one here, this one marked this pullback from the top, this vicious pullback. So we went from almost 20K, and we made a low here of 10,700. All right, so 20K to 10,700. And that marked the big volume bar, and then from that bottom to the top here was about a $7,000 move. Okay, and then the next one was this one here. We made a low of 99.40, and then price kind of consolidated from there, and boom, now we're rolling over. So we're not going to see, unless we get like a really high volume day, I'm not, that's basically what I'm looking for here. I want to see a really high volume day to at least tell us at least we're going to at least get a pop, a short-term pop, and consolidate. But ultimately, when that happens, we have to start taking out some of these previous highs, and really ultimately we have to break out of this this channel. Normally these channels will resolve to the upside after a big move up. This is kind of like a bull flag, and then they break out to the upside. So if we want to look at current support levels, so I just wanted to show you guys that, that's just, you can just look on a chart, look at high volumes and see how price react. And a lot of times they'll both mark a top or a bottom. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's one thing I look at when people are looking for the all clear. If we look at BTC USD, this time we're going to switch over to, got a little alert there on UBIC. But anyway, let's switch over to BTC USD, and we'll look at the Coinbase chart. Okay, so we're at 82. Let's see, what are we here? Got a low of 82.05. So we have, basically support and resistance comes in at, we're breaking that here. We're breaking this one support here at just under 8,300. Then we have one at 75.45, another support level, and then another one comes in at, this one's a pretty decent support here at 54.64. And then we have these fib targets that are fully in play. This one's at 7,077, and this one's at 64.35. All of this stuff is on the radar here until I see some sort of sign that buyers are stepping in. Right now we're just not seeing any buying, and so we just have an equilibrium imbalance where there's just more selling than buying. On the upside, all this is actual Bitcoin being sold and getting into more hands, so you create a broader base of people that are holding this asset. So over time the volatility does pan out, but that's not to say that the volatility is behind us by any means. I think that we're going to have just as crazy volatility up and down through 2018, maybe even more so than we saw in 2017. But the party is not over, and Bitcoin in the crypto space, in reality, guys, is just getting started. But these are big pullbacks, and so it's just part of the game, part of the crypto space. And a lot of guys that got into the game early or later in 2017, probably underwater and hating life right now. But if you go back and you look at previous times where we're at, and I've shown you guys this before, but you look at previous times when we're at look at the beginning of 2017, right? Looks pretty kind of like the same price action, right? We run up, have a big pullback, and at some point you get big volume that comes in and then moves us higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, guys, as far as what puts in a bottom. But until I see that, and it's just kind of like more dribble down, then that's going to be expected. But this is going to turn, and at some point, and but that's the clues we look for. But I think the other thing we can look at too is kind of like where the volume is, and we look at our volume profile. So you can see there's a big chunk of volume here in this range from 82.77 to 55.33. If we zoom farther out, then we got another pocket of volume just around 5 grand would start another pocket of a volume. So this is all the areas where a lot of heavy accumulation was taking place, and so people might just be holding from these positions, and they may actually accumulate more in these positions because they're looking for longer term holds. As you can see, comparatively to where we were up here, the volume is much thicker in these areas. So for price to get through these levels, you'd have to get through a lot of support, volume support in here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. These volume zones, these volume profile zones, are definitely areas of support. They don't just go quietly in the night. So that's what we're looking at as far as market structure and where a lot of the price action has taken place and a lot of the volume. So that's the areas that are basically looking at our immediate support. So we'll see how we bounce into this area here. And so again, I got a fib level. The larger fib comes down to 64.35, believe it or not. We are breaking down in past this area where we had a bunch of fib clusters in here. So I was looking for that to hold, and it's not holding. So next thing you do is you look at where the next area of the fib targets are going, and that's these two areas here, 7,077 and 64.35. But volume profile starts to kick in these levels, so you're going to probably get a base in here. The alternative to a big high volume move reversal marking a bottom would be very quiet, just sideways chop. And I'm not going to discount that, but I don't think that that's likely. I think we're going to see a very high volume event that will either break out to the upside, so you have like a very high volume day that goes up. That's probably a very good indication, or a quick spike down on a bottom, maybe flash down to like 7,000 or below, and again very very heavy volume. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. But hodl strong, this is going to turn, guys, and we got huge upside potential. There's going to be a lot of naysayers, and we're early into this game, and just bear through all the FUD out there. It's heavy, and it's going to be the heaviest when price is collapsing or pulling back really hard like this. But these are great opportunities to add to your core position. And in a couple months, we'll be looking back, and like I showed you guys back in the beginning of 2017, it looked very similar. You zoom out now and look back at that, it's barely a blip on the radar. All right, so that's it for me. Just putting it into perspective for you guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate we hit over 14,000 subscribers. Really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps us out. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.